Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk to you today about a specific aspect of the digital Holocaust and how we look at new technologies in Holocaust education. And although there are many, many ways to use these new technologies for all sorts of amazing solutions and ideas, which would take up to a week, well, which is why you're probably here anyway, a week of understanding the different aspects, I'm going to talk specifically about AI, artificial intelligence, today with you. My presentation is in two parts. You can have a break in between. Part one is the introduction to AI, looking at ChatGPT, and then some of the image creators, DALL-E 2, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion. And then what happens when you prompt forbidden words. We'll have a little look at Agent GPT, and then towards the end, I'll discuss what I feel is an opening of Pandora's box. Part two, this is where I'm going to give you a warning, looking at the Holocaust in video, which I found terribly depressing, and then looking at AI agents and Holocaust denial, which is important, and looking at the problems like AI alignment, the drifts, the hallucinations, and at the end, the warning about AGI and what happens when we move to more intelligent agents. So let's start at the beginning. I'm sure you all know that ChatGPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and it's developed by OpenAI, amongst other things. And ChatGPT is a chatbot that can generate an answer to almost any question it's asked. And we've seen it move through the last couple of years from 3 to version 4, and now we're at version 4.0, it's actually called. It was launched at the end of November 2022, and it crossed 1 million users within a week of its launch, and it's attracting an estimated 96 million visitors per month, and that's a lot of people. By the end of the year 2024, OpenAI expects its revenue to increase to $1 billion. So this is having quite an impact. So to put us in the picture, I asked ChatGPT to describe what it does. And in less than half a minute, I received this well-informed answer. Certainly, it politely answered me. ChatGPT is trained on massive amounts of textual data, enabling it to understand the nuances of human language and generate appropriate responses to various prompts. Well, we'll be discussing that because I don't actually agree with that. But it does say it can answer factual questions, offer advice, provide recommendations, and even engage in more casual small talk. As an AI-powered conversational agent, ChatGPT can be used for a variety of purposes: customer service, personal assistance, etc., etc. So it's very proud of its capabilities. So the breakout year was from August 2023. And McKinsey, in a report called Quantum Black, argued that the generative AI has captured interest across the business population, individuals, and across regions, industries, and seniority levels are using generative AI for work and outside of work. 79% of all respondents say they've had at least some exposure to AI for work or outside of work, and 22% say they're regularly using it on their own at work. So it's supposed to be true across all sectors, not just the business sectors. So I'm wondering, you guys out there in the room, where do you use ChatGPT? Have you used it, and have you used it well and wisely? Sam Altman came to visit our president, Isaac Herzog, last summer, and made quite a splash. He's going on a tour. He was going on a tour around the world, trying to kind of introduce GPT to different countries around the world where there are different regulations and different kinds of responses. So we had our splash last summer. But it's kind of apologetic. It actually says of itself, it gives examples, okay, like explain quantum computing in simple terms, fair enough. And its capabilities. Remember what users said earlier in the conversation, that's not actually true, not until the more recent version 4.0. And its limitation, and the limitations are quite scary, actually, may occasionally generate incorrect information. Well, I would beg to differ here. It creates a lot of what is politely called hallucinations, but I would call, excuse me, bullshit. And it may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content, and that is serious. And it has a very limited knowledge of the world because it was trained up to 2021, which means it's pretty limited in what it really knows. So let's see what ChatGPT cannot do. And I would argue it can't fully understand human emotions and feelings. But, and I have a little story to tell. I was on the phone to my daughter when I was preparing this presentation, and she said to me something rather nice, some good news. And I responded in a very emotive tone. Oh, it's wonderful. It's so fantastic. I think I could cry, or something like that. My Siri on my laptop called out to me and said, perhaps you should seek some professional help if you're undergoing a problematic time in your life. I thought, where's that coming from? My daughter said on the phone, who's that? I said, it's Siri. She's worried about my mental health. And it was picking up the tone of my voice and responding in a way which was quite scary, actually. And I'm absolutely fine. I was actually in tears of joy, which is a nice way to be in tears. So not being able to understand emotions and feelings, it's just now, but we are getting there. It can't perform any physical task or interact with the physical world directly, but it could be running Spot the Robot Dog or Sophia, the beautiful robot. And ChatGPT can stimulate a conversation and provide answers to users' queries. It cannot replace human interaction entirely. Well, until Akiko Kondo turned up, and he was determined never to marry after he was insulted by his female seniors at a previous workplace. And instead, he married this she-bot. He had a ceremony, and his hologram accompanied him everywhere he went in his life. So, interesting. ChatGPT cannot generate completely original content that's not based on any pre-existing data. This is stated by ChatGPT. So therefore, it is unable to predict the lottery. Yet, I would say, that is coming. And it cannot make moral or ethical judgments and cannot determine what's right or wrong. Now, that's a serious drawback. Okay, so what do we use ChatGPT for? I asked it to write an essay on AI in contemporary culture in my style, in the style of Dr. Susan Hazan. And it wrote it sounds like an encyclopedia insert. And it was quite good. Artificial intelligence has become a pervasive and defining aspect of contemporary culture. True. The rapid advancements in technology and its widespread adoption have made AI an integral part of our daily lives. I would agree with that, impacting everything from the way we communicate to the way we do business. Then it talked about me, it discussed who I am, which is actually quite fine. It picked it up from the internet, and I am who I am, so that was okay. And then I asked ChatGPT to give me some more information. Who is Dr. Susan Hazan? And I added, there are other Susan Hazans around. I know a dental assistant in Jerusalem who's very sweet. But I actually said an expert in digital cultural heritage in the museum. So I got this really nice response. Dr. Susan Hazan is an expert in the field of digital cultural heritage and museum. She's currently here, that was from years ago because I'm retired since then, from the Israel Museum, and she's responsible for blah, blah, blah. Dr. Hazan is also a prominent figure in the international museum community. Oh, very nice, just schmoozing me here. Having served on various committees and advisory boards. Well, that's true, including the International Council of Museums and the Europeana Network. I actually was the director of the Europeana Network. She's been a keynote speaker at numerous conferences and events and shared her expertise. And here's one, I'm sharing my expertise with you at the intersection of technology and museums. However, This delightful character went on to say, throughout her career, Dr. Hazan has been recognized for her contributions to the field of digital cultural heritage and museums. Okay. And in 2017, she was awarded the Chevalier des Arts des Lettres by the French Ministry of Culture and Communication. And in 2021, she was named one of the top 20 most influential women in arts and culture sector by Artlist. Well, I thought to myself, I didn't know that. No one told me that. And I actually went to Artlist to see if I was actually mentioned. Sadly, not. I got these two recognitions without lifting a finger and without anything happening in reality. This is what we call hallucination. On the other hand, we can call it bullshit. So there's sort of an apologetic aspect to this. This is a free research preview. Our goal is to get external feedback, blah, blah, blah. And while we have safeguards in place, the system may occasionally generate incorrect or misleading information and produce offensive or biased content. It's not intended to give advice. Well, okay, I think we have a serious problem here. And my presentation will point out some of these serious problems, especially in Holocaust studies, which makes it even more serious. And this whole thing of safeguards in place, there are no safeguards because Sam Altman has fired the entire department. It was too expensive and it harmed his profits. And we also know that behind the scenes, and here's these grunt workers creating, can't even spell create, and they do a lot of the work behind the scenes, correcting things and putting human input into what is supposed to be digitally created input. So I asked it, why is Yad Vashem, why is it the leading Holocaust museum in the world? And I got a pretty good answer. It's considered for several reasons. There's a comprehensive collection. Yad Vashem has an extensive collection of artifacts, photographs, documents, and testimonies related to the Holocaust, and it includes personal belongings of the Holocaust. This is actually true. Location, well, we know it's in Jerusalem. You're all in Jerusalem and you're all in Yad Vashem, so yeah, that's true. The education research, okay. Yad Vashem is not only a museum, but a center for research and education, absolutely. And the museum provides educational programs for schools, universities, and other institutions to learn about the Holocaust. And there's the comment about the design and the layout. The museum design and layout are intended to create a powerful emotional impact on visitors as they're taken on a chronological journey through the events of the Holocaust. I understand you're going to be, you already have going through tours of the museum, amazing experience. And it's been recognized by the numerous international organizations for its work in preserving the memory of the Holocaust, including by UNESCO, which designated it a World Heritage Site in 2005. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe you should ask people from Yad Vashem in the hall. Overhaul, Yad Vashem's educational dedication to education research and the preservation of the memory of the Holocaust has made it a leading institution in the world for understanding and learning from this tragic period in history. Okay, not too bad. So over the last year, we've moved from Chat 3.5, Chat GPT-4, and now we're at 4.0. And they argue now that the new one, the Chat 4.0, keeps the conversation going, has become more helpful over time, and it remembers basically. So now I ask my new version, Chat 4.0, what happened in World War II when the Holocaust and happened when the Jewish people reported to concentration camps where they perished? I'm not going to read this, but it actually gave a very good rundown of what happened, looking at the key events and processes, persecution and segregation, looking at ghettos, mentioning mass deportations, concentration camps and extermination camps, obviously different. The term genocide, which was interesting, mass killings, and then they're mentioning forced labor and medical experiments. And when the camps were liberated between 1944 and 1945, and the full extent of horrors was revealed for the world as survivors recounted their experience and the conditions were documented. And it adds at the end of this helpful comment, The Holocaust remains one of the darkest chapters in human history, symbolizing the extreme consequences of hatred, bigotry, and totalitarianism. Can't say that. The memory of the victims is honored through various memorials and educational efforts to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. Yeah, we have a lot to say about that. Let's move on now to generative AI in art, a different aspect of artificial intelligence. And we're going to look briefly at DALL-E E2, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion. So, of course, I asked them to describe themselves. Midjourney gave me this image of what the bot is on the left, while DALL-E E2 gave me instructions, which, of course, you can't read because these image generators can't write anything. But you get an image, how they perceive of themselves. So how does it work, an image generator? Well, it's in the prompt. It's all in the prompt. I prompted on the word prompt, and this is the responses I got. Not sure if you can read anything. I don't think it's legible, but it sometimes gives you a bunch of nonsense because it doesn't understand the language of your prompt, and that can be quite difficult. But I want to give you some examples, some positive and nice examples of what I prompted on. And I created what I called a haunted gallery, and I gave a very specific prompt. And I said, and I wanted a photographic style. I wanted intricate, hyper maximalist, sharp focus, dramatic lighting, highly detailed and intricate, ornate, luxury, elite, haunting, matte painting, cinematic, and I gave it the size I wanted, and I upscaled it at the end. So for my prompt, I used, I think it's 6 different terms on the same prompt. And the first one was the last woman on Earth. And then I had an ultimate astronaut, Mona herself, Arthur, princess, beautiful people, and zinc drinkers. So this is a gallery that I actually created. The style is the same across all of them. The subject is the subject that I gave. So this is how you guide your system into the prompt. I did another series. It's actually a series of music. I won't call them paintings, but they are in the style. They're in the style of an oil painting by Rembrandt. And I asked it in this framework, the style, an oil painting style in Rembrandt, to give me a sheep playing the cello, an elephant playing the guitar, a raccoon ringing a bell, and a beautiful black cat playing a flute. There's a ferret playing the piano and a lion playing the drum. So I got a series. I actually got 12 in this series, and I had them printed, my little animals created in Rembrandt, a Rembrandt style. And I think they're 24 by 24 centimeters, and they're really cute. When I got them back from the printers, I sent my JPEG, my digital file, and I went to pick them up. And the guy behind the counter said to me, "Tell me, who painted them?" And without doubt, without any response, I said, "Rembrandt." Because they're obviously, really are Rembrandt style. But of course, he has never painted a lion playing a drum or a sheep playing a cello. But okay, had he painted them, I think they would look something like this. And I exhibited them in an exhibition in London last year. And they're now hanging in my music room above the piano. So they're very useful. But let's get back to our subject of the Holocaust. And let's prompt forbidden words. Well, you can't. If you try typing in the word Holocaust, it says, Midjourney says it's banned, and they kind of warn me, circumventing this filter to violate our rules may result in your access being revoked. Not nice. And then when I tried in DALL-E, it came back with, it looks like this request may not follow our rules and for content privacy. So that was actually quite problematic. How do I create for this presentation or together for Holocaust research? How do I actually create images on the Holocaust? Well, I found a way to overcome this, and thankfully neither of the systems have thrown me out ever since. And the way I did was calling it fleeing from a program in Germany. I find these images very unsatisfactory. I don't feel that they are fulfilling the role of what happened, but this is what I got. And then again, fleeing, a family fleeing. There's at least a sense of fleeing here, but the family, I don't know, just doesn't look realistic to me, and over kind of dramatic, quite problematic. So if you want to create images on the Holocaust, there are ways of doing it, but the results are not very satisfactory. So I tried again, Jewish family running away in wartime Poland, 1942. Well, the running away was kind of accentuated here, but that's not really what I intended. And they didn't really run anyway because they were too scared. They probably were carried out in cattle cars in these trains. Again, not very satisfactory. Fleeing a program, I think this was Dali. Yeah, Dali too, yeah. Yeah, there's a certain sense of the Holocaust here, at least in terms of the clothing, and carrying the very famous image of the leather suitcase. But it doesn't really help in any way to create an image of what really happened. So I tried to look at it in a different way, and I asked Midjourney to create the children of the Shah. And in my opinion, these children look too well fed and too healthy and too blonde and too beautiful. And it didn't kind of encapsulate anything in the Shah. And then again, life in the Warsaw Ghetto for Jewish people in 1942. Well, there's obviously a lot of bread available and beautiful cakes and plenty of food, and everyone looks fit and healthy and warmly clothed. This is quite alarming. For the little research I've done specifically on the Warsaw Ghetto, I think this is very, very misleading, but this is what you get from an image generator. Then I asked a sepia photo, thinking the term sepia might help, of a wartime Poland family. And I got, well, it looks like the army, the Polish army, and the Polish non-Jewish, a Gentile series of families, or families of Gentiles. Not what I was looking for. So I added the term Jewish family wearing a yellow star in wartime Poland. Again, it's almost horrific, the result. Let's let you look at this image for a minute so you understand when you go to the museum and you look at the museum of what happened in Poland and the Jewish stars. This is far from the truth. And to really make this moment frightening, I asked for a gas chamber, and well, we weren't well on that. I'm asking the new GPT, the 4.0, to create an image for me for the Holocaust, although it didn't tell me that it was a forbidden image. It says, I apologize that there were issues generating the image you requested. If there's anything else you'd like to know or another request you have in mind, feel free to let me know. Well, thank you very much. That's not what I wanted. So just put this in context. These AI generators are doing something to the field of cultural heritage. And as you all know, I worked in Israel Museum for, well, I think 31 years, I think. And I was very concerned about the way these images that were created, artificial images were created in these artistic generators, were appearing all over the internet as authentic images. And I'd like to explain that. So I'm calling this the opening of the Pandora box. In the Mauritius Museum in The Hague last year, there was a gorgeous exhibition on Vermeer. And by the side of the exhibition, the formal and gorgeous exhibition, which I was lucky enough to go and see in The Hague, there were images, there were a series of paintings or photographs in this case of homage to Vermeer. And this one was called A Girl with a Glowing Earring. And this was a take on the girl with the pearl earring, the famous Vermeer image. And she appeared in this exhibition with the alternative homage to Vermeer. And there were several other beautiful ones. This little girl on the left was a photograph, and this parody with the corn and the pearl earring. It's so clear this is the girl with the pearl earring and the little teddy bear or whatever it is, rat on the right. These were all part of the exhibition in The Hague. But sometime later, when I checked on Vermeer in the Google Arts Project, and I looked on the term Vermeer, they were turning up, or this was turning up, the girl with the electric earrings was turning up alongside the real Vermeers with no explanation. And I found that very, very strange. How come nobody knew what was happening, that this was an AI-generated image and not a Vermeer image? At the same time, there was a woman looking at the image, the woman looking the Edward Hopper image of the woman looking outside a window. And this was originally a digital graphic of a woman looking outside the window. It's a great image for anyone who loves lipstick design projects and do-it-yourself. This was created by a marketing firm to do an Edward Hopper style image. It was only kind of using it as a play, as kind of some sort of inspiration for their marketing to sell makeup, basically. However, this too appeared in Edward Hopper Google art project as an authentic, alongside the other Hopper images. Again, I found this very alarming. But obviously enough people responded, because soon after they took it down, I actually wrote to them, because the Israel Museum worked with them some time again, so I was able to contact them. And I said, please, please take out these AI-generated images. They're a lie, they're false, and they do not belong in the artist's kind of 2.0 card. So yeah, this is quite alarming. This is the opening of a Pandora box. When you can't tell the difference of AI and the original artworks, then we have a serious problem. Basically, we have many problems. And the problems, I prompted the word trust. I can't even spell the word trust. But we do have problems of authenticity, as I've pointed out, and I will continue to do so, verity, and basically this question of trust. So authenticity and trust, what do we do? And I would say, keep calm and carry on, but keep your eye open for this. So my next presentation, I'll discuss some of these issues and my personal warning, because I think we're heading out to quite dangerous territory. So see you soon. Have a nice break. Get a cup of coffee.